They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The Fear Central Radio Show. Warning, our content may include spoilers and is intended for mature audiences.
Hey, fellow horror fans, welcome to the Fear Central Radio Show. I am your host, Mike, and we've got our basic crew here tonight with me, and we are missing 1, 2, 3. Because we have 2 new members this season.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we're missing Katie.
Okay.
And Tim. And
Monica.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just say who's not here and we'll let them figure out who is.
There you go. But yeah, we missed last week. We were going to bring you this whole fright fight thing, and then we started rethinking the whole constitution of making this fright fight thing. And then the Super Bowl happened, and people got sick, and some of us are still sick. Yeah, I mean, it's just like every few days, it's just like it's back.
Yep.
So it's kind of like
which is why Katie's not here.
Yeah.
Outbreak.
It's back.
Yeah. All these outbreaks happening.
I know. Flu and the strep and the backs going out and
all of it.
Scared. Pneumonia.
Yes.
So then
we
thought
my dog is terrified. It's whining.
Yeah.
It would be
so
good
much.
to just talk about virus-related movies.
Yes, the viruses.
Books and graphic novels and games.
All about the viruses.
Yeah, it's all about the viruses this week. Tasty.
Yeah. I will say
there's part of it right there.
Yeah, virus-related horror is a kind of often overlooked as far as the genre is concerned.
Yeah.
Really, in general, because most of the time you get something kind of disgusting that you never want to think about again after you're done with it.
Yeah, like some of the images in Contracted,
yes.
Some of those you were just like, oh.
Yeah, there were several, especially towards the end, and you're going, oh my.
Right?
What is that?
One Grindhouse did one where the guy has the bubbles on his tongue and just.
Oh yeah,
Planet Terror.
Planet Terror, the Planet Terror segment.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was a good virus one. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Testicles falling out.
Yeah,
it was
great. and how many women?
There's a Quentin Tarantino figure of that scene.
Yeah.
Is there?
There is.
Oh my god, I gotta own it.
You gotta have a crotchless figure.
I gotta have it.
Well, how many women?
It would go really good right next to
stop shaving their legs after a while after watching
Cabin Fever. Oh,
right?
Totally.
I just watched it
I know
the other
I
day.
did.
Paul, you quit shaving your legs?
That explains so much about you, honey, now. I know, right?
Honestly, I didn't want to stand out at Burning Man.
I actually watched it and then shaved my legs, so yeah, maybe I'm the oddball.
Yeah.
Are you serious? You
Yeah.
shaved it? Oh,
Next time we put the TV...
Just reminded you about it? Yeah, I need to do
I
that.
need to shave my legs, yeah.
Next time we'll
when
put
I
the
do
TV
it-
in the bathroom, and you'll be shaving while they're doing it.
And when I do it, a chunk of my flesh won't fall in the tub.
You cut yourself badly shaving your legs. The tub looks like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really does. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Devil Dog's not playing,
he's not.
no, this is,
He's
Zool.
just whiny.
Zool. Yeah, Zool's not doing Limbo.
You're being a whiny Zool.
He is.
Nobody likes the
He's
whiny
often
Zool.
whiny.
Don't be whiny.
He's a
Whiny.
husky, so for the listeners that understand huskies, they know why he's whining.
All the time.
Because he's whiny.
Yeah, because huskies whine.
Well, we did forget to bring Crowley with us tonight, so
Yeah.
in all fairness,
Yeah, Baby Cujo's not with us tonight, so...
He's kind of upset.
We wouldn't have whining. We'd have a whole bunch of bumping and stuff
Yes,
around the
and growling.
background.
Yeah, growling and barking.
And
And, yeah.
You know,
stuff
the
getting knocked off
usual.
tables. Yeah.
Well, on the relation to Cabin Fever,
Yes.
that was honestly, whenever you mentioned this podcast, that was the first thing that popped into my head. Not necessarily because I liked that movie all that much. I have a love-hate relationship with Eli Roth. Like
Everybody has a love-hate relationship with Eli Roth.
Eli Roth should have a love-hate relationship with Eli Roth.
If you watch his movies, I think he does.
I think he does.
He gets up in the morning and goes, I love you, but I hate you too.
This is the guy. These
I
are the
love
type
that.
of
That was
people that are
excellent.
like me.
What the fuck was I thinking?
He was great in Glorious Bastards. I'll say that though.
He played
Yes.
a great cloyne.
Yes.
He did
Yeah.
play a great coin.
But there's so much like depressing about that movie, but like said about those characters in that movie. Like whenever they lock up the girl in the shack and everything like that. And then,
Yeah.
This is what happens when your acting career in Boy Meets World goes bad.
Right? Right? Totally.
Oh.
Riders, stay strong.
But it wasn't just a human virus. Remember the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog got it.
the virus. And yeah.
And Dennis probably got the virus.
Oh, cousin Dennis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever he bit that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did he scream at them in the shack? Was it pancakes or waffles or something like?
Pudding.
I can't remember.
Go
oh my
juice
gosh.
waffle?
Oh my
I
god.
thought it was. I'm remembering it to be him just saying a food item, and then he like does a bunch of really redneck karate moves and then bites the guy. For whatever reason, it's like the most memorable scene in that movie.
It really is.
Other than the shaving the leg part.
Yeah, well, that was in the trailer. I remember that.
Yeah. But they didn't show it all in the trailer.
That and
Pancakes. It's
pancakes.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
No pancakes. Pancakes. No pancakes.
Pancakes.
Because in
Yeah.
the morning I'm making waffles.
Right? Whoa.
Oh my god.
What?
He speaks husky.
He does. Okay.
With friends.
Was there anything in that movie that you liked more, like in Cabin Fever, that you liked more than? I mean, because it was done in 2002 and then remade
With Eli Roth
in
producing,
2016.
which is why it was really so close to the original.
Right.
It was needless. That one was
The sex scene sticks out in my mind,
What kills me is that because
or at least in the remake.
What kills me is because
Yeah.
that was Lionsgate. Lionsgate, like whenever they went to Blu-ray, they started advertising all their old movies again.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been about a year since Lionsgate stopped advertising the original Cabin Fever when they remade Cabin Fever.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of time in between.
No.
I mean, 14 years is
And they
not
used the
that-
same script.
They did.
And
Which to me is a remake.
yeah.
Now,
But you have a younger crowd.
Now, for Cabin Fever, I haven't seen the second one, which is the Spring Fever, but I did see the third one, Patient Zero,
Yes.
Yeah.
With Sean Astin.
with Sean Astin.
Oh, it's great.
I liked that one.
Yeah.
I mean, the girl, they went swimming, and then she's in the
Yeah.
tent, and then she's like melting.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That was good.
That was
So-
good.
Okay, so what makes a good virus movie, regardless of horror, just a good virus movie to you?
Gotta give some
Some of us,
insight.
in some respects, it's got to be believable.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like the
gotta
TV
be
show we were talking
You're gonna have
about.
to wash your hands after you watch a movie.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, you want to go for this hand sanitizer,
Yeah.
not touch anybody ever
You,
again.
Yeah.
you don't want to leave your house for
Right.
like
Okay.
the next decade because you think this virus could exist.
Yeah.
Especially the ones, and I don't mean like Cabin Fever or anything like that, but like the ones like in Contagion where it's bird-like flu,
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like a flu, and right now flu is
Oh yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
I mean, it is everywhere.
And
And then
that
not
one was actually
not too long ago, didn't we have the avian flu where every like in China and
Yep.
everybody was getting. I don't know if everybody was getting sick. I
and
don't
we
really
had the
know a lot
swine
about
flu
it.
for
But
a while.
swine flu, mad cow disease. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You-
see,
you
the thing I
wonder-
like about Contagion was it had top A-list actors in it, and it wasn't downplayed as it's just some crappy horror movie.
right. It was very.
And then there was that TV show. We were just talking about it.
Oh, geez.
Contaminated.
Containment.
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 Yeah. And and that was very believable.
It was.
No.
It was.
12 Monkeys,
Yeah. The show or the movie?
the movie.
I haven't watched any of the show.
The show's decent.
Nah, I couldn't get into it. I tried.
It-
I really liked the Containment because it was a big city. It was set in
Chicago,
Atlanta.
I think.
Atlanta.
Was it Atlanta?
It was in Atlanta, and
Everything's in Atlanta today.
it's because that's where the CDC is.
It's true.
I mean,
Right.
where else would you have
All the more
Also
reason
'cause they
not
have
to be
viral
in Atlanta.
Well, yes,
I'm
but
a little disgruntled about their film incentives. We don't have those.
well, I mean, you would think that if it would be more realistic if it was set around the CDC where they keep all those viruses and diseases and
Whoa.
Whoa! All kinds of noise.
We have
Okay.
a breach. We have a breach. And we're
I'm
gonna die.
infected now.
oh, sorry.
Whatever.
But in the containment, they actually built a wall to keep all the sick in,
Right.
you
Which-
know, and keep the healthy out.
Cooper.
Whoa,
Hey now.
he lives there, dude.
Which was very reminiscent of to me of Doomsday,
It
which was also another virus.
It was.
No.
It was.
I liked that movie, but honestly, the only thing that stayed with me was her car.
I blinked.
And the fact that she kind of looked like
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate
Beckinsale
Beckinsale.
in
That's
Underworld.
Yeah.
Well, that's because she's the star of Underworld 3. That's Rona Mitra.
Oh, okay.
Rise of the
Yeah.
Lycans. That was
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
I like Rona Mitra. She was the first Lara Croft. Like the one that went on tour circuits and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which she looks a lot more like Lara Croft than Angelina Jolie does.
Yeah.
All Angelina Jolie did was her lips.
Angelina had to
Did
pad
you
for
say
that.
Poopy lips?
Poofy, I believe. Poofy.
I will accept either answer.
That would be a
What is
cat in the
injection,
background.
sir,
Yeah.
for the 300?
Okay, so let's move on.
Moving on.
Moving on back to
Instead of contagion, we got collagen.
right.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so It Follows. That would be kind of considered a
It's
virus.
the ultimate STD.
That's the ultimate
Yeah.
STD.
Yeah.
You're getting stalked by
that's-
stalked by it.
But in
I didn't like the movie because
Contracted.
it was so long, but I mean, the concept of it was
I
phenomenal.
love It Follows. Actually, it's not that long. It might feel long because of the way it's
Felt
shot.
really long.
my favorite scene is when she's in the chair under the overpass. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? And
yes.
it's coming from behind her.
I love the opening's the
Yes.
opening's amazing.
Yes.
If I'm honest, I still don't feel satisfied with the way they ended the movie.
No.
Like it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
It didn't.
But great tension, like really tense movie. I'll give it that.
But with Contracted, it was also an air quotes STD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
wasn't that also Afflicted? I actually haven't watched that one.
No, Afflicted. That was the one where it was the guys traveling like in Europe or something.
Yes, or is it Asia? Or?
Asia.
Asia, yes,
somewhere there.
yes. Oh, I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a found footage style movie.
yeah,
Right.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was.
Well, it was. I guess so because he went into like a brothel kind of thing and then came out and got sick.
I heard it was vampirism by way of STDs. What it
okay.
was described to me as.
So then, what about teeth?
Vagina dentata.
I don't think that was contagious though. Just
No, that was. Well, I mean, it's genetic.
genetic.
That was
yeah.
genetic, not necessarily a disease.
Right. I don't want that X gene.
So, what movie were you talking about before we started recording, Heather? It was another STD related to someone having sex with a corpse, right?
That was. That was.
That was Contagion?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No.
That was
Contracted.
contracted.
rather.
Yeah.
Okay,
because
I
at the
have not
beginning,
watched that movie.
Okay.
You should.
Okay,
And
it's
actually,
really-
the sequel is
It's
just
pretty-
as good.
It really is. There's two: Contracted and Contracted Phase
Two.
2.
Yeah.
Phase 2.
Phase 2.
Phase 2.
So someone saw Cabin
Well-
Fever and Necromantic and then said, I need those movies to be the same thing.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really show a lot of necrophilia just at the beginning.
Okay.
And it's a girl who has battled addiction before. She's at a party.
Mm-hmm.
She unwisely accepts a drink from a strange man.
Bill Cosby.
He was white, so, you know. I don't know.
Oh, Weinstein.
Will Cosby.
Will Cosby, yeah, that's right.
William.
This is Dennis Cosby.
Dennis Cosby.
This is his cousin. No, and she, whatever's in the drink, she's completely inebriated,
She gets
and she
roofied.
gets raped in a car,
Yeah.
and then she starts getting all these weird symptoms, and
What's the first symptom?
Crap.
Oh,
Really? That's in
terrible.
everything.
I don't
Oops, I
remember.
shit my pants.
Wasn't her eyes started bleeding or her
Yeah.
veins started popping out? I don't remember.
I can't remember. Jeez.
It's been a while
Does
since I
does
watched
she
it.
go necrotic
right.
by the end of this movie?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Like
I
she
think
starts
the
So
rotting?
how is there
I think the
necrophilia in it
worst-
if she's in the beginning of it?
Because
and
then
The
she
guy-
starts going
Because
around.
the guy is the one.
The guy
who
had sex with a body, and
Yes,
then
but it's like he was developing this. I mean, it wasn't like he just had sex with Corson, bing, bang, boom, you've got this. It was like he was developing this.
virus?
Yes, it's. Ooh.
in the body.
Ugh.
I'm confused.
I'm so totally with you there.
This is
Well, he
like
wasn't
you
the
gotta
same
go home and
guy
watch
in,
this movie.
in Death
this is
Girl.
like
I don't want to watch this movie.
so this guy
should.
he's like growing this virus inside this corpse that he has sex with, and then
He's okay. Here's what it is. He works in a morgue. Okay,
okay.
Gotcha.
and
It's a good job for him to have.
but he has
A+ for reasoning.
He's a
Dennis.
necrophiliac that has sex with a corpse that has a biohazard tag.
Okay, that's unwise, Dennis. Not
Right.
not thinking it clearly there.
Yes. So, yeah, but
Boom, boom.
And it wasn't the guy from Dead Girl.
it was she couldn't eat and it was noise. Remember, she was oversensitive to noise.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yes.
That was the first part.
And then she starts bleeding from the nether regions. I'm trying to think of a polite way to put that.
Europe,
Yeah, she was bleeding in Europe.
Down under.
the Netherlands.
And yeah. So, but what makes the beginning of this movie so strange is that the girl is lesbian.
Okay,
Okay, so she's
that's really the strange part of this movie.
well, no, it's strange because she's hasn't had sex with man sex. That's what
I
it
haven't had
was.
man sex yet.
She's lesbian. She hadn't had man sex in a long time.
And
so
no
this
man
is,
sex.
Okay,
you know, but
she didn't pick a good one.
no, her eyes get all bloodshot, her hair clumps and falls out. It's pretty gruesome as it progresses, and then you get to the very end, and it's almost sad because it shows
Yeah.
her mom, and it's like almost sad in a way,
Well-
and you're like, what?
I can't think of many. I mean, cabin fever's arguable, but I can't think of many disease movies, horror or otherwise, that are actually funny or like comedic in tone. In general, they will hit you with drama.
Yeah, warm bodies. We are not even going there,
Well,
Chad.
if we
That's like Twilight for the horror
She say
community, and that's
Twilight?
This is how we are.
Twilight.
Sit down.
bad.
Twilight.
No.
Sorry, Twilight.
So we were talking about
the
Afflicted.
book was good. I'll give you that. The book was actually really solid.
So,
Are we talking about warm bodies or Twilight?
The warm bodies. Warm bodies.
the Warm Twilight?
He doesn't want to talk about Twilight.
I
I have not read a Twilight book.
but we were,
I actually have read them all.
Oh no!
and then she went on to the
No,
fan
but-
fictions. No.
Oh,
no,
You mean
it's
50
not.
Shades of Grey?
I have read
50 Shades of
yeah,
Grey.
I guess I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've read them. Yeah,
Haha.
Ha ha.
I read a lot, so I just read random things too, whatever strikes my
But
fancy
we
at
were
the
talking
time.
about Afflicted
Yeah.
being related to, and we were talking about where they shot it. It was Barcelona, Paris, Italy, and Vancouver on a budget of $318,000.
Which one?
Afflicted.
They didn't want to make a movie. They wanted to go on vacation.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
So,
they did.
well, that's why it's
That's-
found footage.
Yeah,
You know that's why Adam Sandler makes all his movies these days?
because he wants to go on vacation.
Yeah, if you think about all of his movies recently, they're
Yeah.
always like set in another country.
Yeah.
Like he's always like going on vacation and stuff like that. He's able to write off vacations.
Yeah.
No,
that way.
that's what James Cameron did with Titanic. He wanted to go down to the real ship, so he's like, "I'll make a movie." And the
he
studio
spent a
will
hell of
fund
a-
my expedition.
right.
Well, he still spent a hell of a lot of money doing
Yeah.
that himself.
But yeah, there always seems to.
You seem uncomfortable. What's going on there?
I don't want to say that I find humor in the virus movies, but there's always something that's humorous. Like there's always a situation where you're like, "Oh my god, you dumbass! What
Yeah,
are you
yeah, there's
thinking?
always
Oh
one of
my
those.
god!" You know what I mean? And Like in
general, horror kind of like lends
Containment,
to that, actually.
where
But
the guy he actually wants to go into the infected city, and he's outside, and I'm like, what? I mean, I get it. The woman you love is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, but if I was the woman he loved, I'd say, stay your ass outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I love you, Chad, but if I'm disease-ridden and you're not, stay away from me. You know what I mean? I think that would be
I
more...
wouldn't want to walk in there and put you out of your misery.
Oh, walking there?
Are you kidding? That was amazing. Where did that come from? It came out of the sky.
It came out of Mike's ass.
Mike's ass plays music now, apparently. That's
What the hell do you eat?
Rice Krispies, didn't you know? Snap, crackle, pop.
Horror.
Horror.
Horrors.
What would horrors be like? You'd catch a
Count
virus.
Chocula?
You'd catch a virus
Well, I
from
mean,
it.
they gotta be gushy, right? Like you bite into them and it goes red, or you put them in
that's-
milk and they turn
Those-
red.
like the
Gushers.
Crave
This is
cereal.
the cabin fever shaving legs cereal.
Awesome.
That gives me a brilliant idea, just FYI. I have a brilliant idea.
A stack
Yes.
of scabs in every spoonful.
Oh God. Okay. And now I'm gonna hurl.
I have an idea, and it's going to be totally
For Halloween?
disgusting. Yes, just totally caught me right there. I know what we're doing.
Cabin
feels-
flakes.
Cabin flakes.
Flake news.
Well, now that
Fever
we're on
flakes.
food, we
I don't know why
gotta go.
I don't know why I said cabin flakes.
Well, you
Fever
know, when you
flakes.
can't get enough, you gotta get the stuff.
I want to see that movie so bad.
Never.
You've never seen the stuff?
No, I have never seen
I
it.
didn't either.
That's on Prime, right? I
Is it
think-
on
Might
Prime?
be. I don't know.
think it is.
We're gonna have to watch this.
It
The
was
stuff?
at one point, anyways.
Okay, what is the stuff?
That
Maybe
one
I
is.
should just
that
wait.
one,
I don't know.
Watch.
It looks like marshmallow fluff. But
the stuff.
apparently-
The stuff is the stuff. I will
It's,
admit
it's,
that
it's,
one
it's
is
like a marshmallow yogurt.
that one is funny. I will give
Yeah,
you
it
that.
is
That
funny.
one. That one is fun.
It's,
Well, you have to buy it.
it kind of
It's
falls
not on
along the
Prime.
lines of They Live, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Little
Oh.
comedic.
Yeah,
kind of
a little bit of
poking fun
advertising.
at what's going on at the time.
Consumerism
kind
and
of
stuff.
like a horror. What is it? Flubber?
Kind of.
Or the blob. It's sort of
More
blobbish.
of a blobbish
Yeah.
yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Viral. Following the outbreak of a virus that wipes out the majority of the human population, a young woman documents her family's new life in quarantine and tries to protect her infected sister.
What's that?
It's called Viral.
I have not seen that one. I've seen
Yeah.
the it pop up on Netflix maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't watched it. There's several that I have, but
Okay, so
I'm all about
since we
the.
don't really know the backstory premise of It Comes at Night, could there be a viral thing there going on? And that's why the dude went crazy? Because he did kind of give that whole, when he was staring at himself in the mirror,
Well,
kind of.
do you remember in the beginning where they had Grandpa and he was infected with something?
Yeah, and then it
and then
killed
they
him.
had it killed. No, they killed him.
Right, they killed him.
And buried him.
Right.
And that's why they kept putting on the mask and not wanting to go outside. But
So it
It-
seems like it could be very viral
it
type
could
of
have been.
related as opposed to nuclear
You
winter.
haven't seen it?
Oh, they were here that night.
Oh, you weren't here that night.
No,
Yeah.
Monica said it was terrible. I actually enjoyed it.
I thought it was good.
It sounds like one I would enjoy.
would enjoy
It's
it.
very. I heard it's very subtle.
It is very subtle. And you get to the end and you think, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's really subtle.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it, you know. So let's see, what others? I mean, we could always go for, you know, the World War Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
You got your typical
you got
zombie
your typical
virus.
zombie virus.
Yeah, but
And-
if we
and
start
just
talking
depending
about
on-
zombies, you're going to go down the rabbit trail.
I'm
Yeah.
not going down the rabbit trail. I'm just saying that
Those
there's
just
others.
depend on who's the creator, because you know Romero started it with more of a like an alien virus because it came from a satellite that crashed.
Right.
Same thing with the Crazies. It was
Plane.
from a plane.
Yeah.
Right. But
I in
And
general.
of course, Resident Evil with the T virus.
oh, Chernobyl.
Chernobyl
Chernobyl.
virus. Yeah.
That one was a.
I really. I mean,
You don't realize what it is until you
No.
get to the very end.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm assuming that.
I really enjoy. I really enjoy the Spanish series Wreck, which was remade as Quarantine and
in America.
Sort of remade as Quarantine 2. That was like a sequel that didn't follow the original series.
They're up to what, Wreck 7 now?
Yes.
No.
6, 7?
Way up there.
It's
up there.
5, I think. Because the fourth one was the one on the ship, if I remember right. No, but that one is interesting because it's a virus movie, a zombie movie, and a demon movie all in one. So essentially, the best thing about that first one is you get your you follow that reporter who's trying to find out what's going on at this apartment building. The apartment building goes quarantined, and then like rage virus starts coming up. But there's a apartment at the top of the building where some bad crap's going down. And so whenever you get into the whole virus part of it, you start to realize that it's sort of a hive mind relating to this woman who was possessed. It is intensely creepy for the last scene. And both, I will say, Quarantine actually did a decent job with the ending scene too.
Well, in the original Wreck, the actors were never given the script in its entirety. So none of them knew what their characters' fates were.
Nice.
So sometimes not until the day that they were actually filming it. I want to do that with one of my films.
I just remembered one that I've seen.
Which
that
one?
I'm pretty sure you may have seen, but I know for sure you two haven't. It's called Resurrection.
Yes.
It's Argentinian.
Yes.
Yes.
That one's good.
Yeah. It's set in the 19th century, so it's a period piece, but it's really well done.
Yeah.
And it's yellow fever. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yellow fever.
Yellow fever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's subtitled. That's why I say you haven't seen it, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. I mean,
I remember being solid. I think I caught it. I have a love-hate relationship with streaming. Like, you can find movies that I drop of a hat. There are sometimes you'll watch a movie and you'll forget what you watched.
that's why I had to type in Argentinian movie about a priest fighting a virus.
Well, there's an amazing Mexican movie, I think, about a boy getting terrorized by a feral girl that lives in the woods outside of his house. And I think the movie might be called Feral or something like that. But I found that one on Netflix on a whim, and I have not been able to locate it again because they took it off.
Sounds familiar. I think I might watch that one.
That one was really good, but not related to our subject matter. So,
Outbreak, another A-list actor film, with an Ebola-like virus.
Okay, so
What was it?
Outbreak.
Oh yeah, that was the Mataba. That's it. Virus with the monkey.
So I think with virus movies in general, like two things that I recognize that happen in a lot of virus fiction. They're either really sad or they can be really disgusting. So I kind of wanted to get a round table. What is a particular scene that, like, naming a full scene that you found disgusting in some virus movie? Doesn't matter what type.
Well, I mean, we've all talked about the cabin fever with the shaving of the legs. I mean, that's definitely one of the top ones.
Anything that has like to deal with like pustules or like the oozing of something.
Yeah, she didn't like the Planet Terror thing.
It's never. I did.
You like stick out your tongue.
Yeah, like every once in a while. Okay, so like most viruses, you see them coughing or hacking and stuff like that. But or like with the 12 monkeys, or the monkey bit him or something, or bit the child.
It was just spread. I mean, the only time they showed anything about the virus on 12 Monkeys is it's in that container whenever David Morse is in the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, my thing isn't so much people coughing and hacking. It's the fluid. It's the pustules.
Okay.
And stuff.
So when a virus movie gets juicy is when you get it.
I get a little squeamish. I'm like,
be a dermatologist. Chris could not be a dermatologist.
And it's ironic because I love blood. I could fling that stuff all day. Slime, but you throw
So Katie and I,
bodily fluid like that, and I'm out.
That doesn't bother
so
me.
Katie and I watch react things on YouTube or whatever. The reason I kind of got into them is it's because you see like how different people will react to things. Different. So they were doing like a try not to cringe challenge where people have to sit there with headphones on, stare at a screen, and not move, not flinch, not wince. And it was like a split down the middle whenever it got to one of those videos about popping pimples and like pulling pus out of like because there's like the one I've been subjected to was a guy who had let these blackheads and whiteheads go for like 15 years.
Are you kidding me?
So like he looked like he was covered in barnacles basically. So they start like pulling it out and it's just like strands and strings and it's all hard and stuff, and I'm like,
that stuff just makes me want to stay home in my room with the door barricaded.
It is so interesting. It is so interesting how cathartic it is for some people. Because I can't do it at all. But like on the React channel, it's like you had like half the people were like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one." And I'm like,
I'm on that same side with those
it's
people.
like-
Okay, now see if
They
it's
do not bother me at all.
it's-
I watch them all day long.
some
if I
people,
had to.
it's not even a matter of it not bothering you. It's a thing you're like you get a release like, oh
Well,
wow,
it's kind of
yeah.
like, okay, so if you've ever had back knee or bug bites on your back, it's kind of that release where if it's being done to you, you have that release where you're like, oh my god, yes, please just get it all out, I'm done.
Right.
But if you're watching it, like you said, it's that horrible car crash thing where you're like, ah.
Oh yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I can watch
she's
it.
all like, she's good.
Now my child, he can't watch it, but I'm like, oh, do you look what came out of that guy.
See, and it's really weird because it's just if it's like a green mucusy thing, but if I'm watching like Trauma Life in the ER or I'm watching anything medically, I'm all into it. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. The gorier, the better kind of thing. But
Right.
I don't know what it is in horror movies. It's just that one thing.
So, two virus-related video games. Last of Us.
I was just thinking about that one because
That was pretty good.
I'm out.
That one's
it's
really-
very
I don't
similar.
play video games.
Yeah.
But the storyline is the virus is very similar to the girl with all the gifts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because one of the first Blu-rays I picked up was the Season 1 box set of Planet Earth. And you get into, I guess it was the episode on the rainforest, it dealt into something called cordyceps. Cordyceps are nature's ways of thinning out a population.
Like Tide Pods. I'm sorry, I had to go
Nice.
there.
No,
I had to throw that in there, didn't you, Chris?
I did. I so did.
Honestly, this is sort of a train wreck of something to watch because it's beautiful the way they chose to film it, but it is horrific if you just sit there and stare at it. Because in general, what cordyceps are, it's a fungus that gets into some species that's overpopulated. So they show like an ant, and an ant starts going crazy, and Attenborough's narrating, and he talks about whenever they recognize one of their own population going crazy,
They'll kill it.
They'll take it far, far away where it'll lose track of where the nest is. And it'll start to lose mobility, and then it starts sprouting this fungus, and it's this crystalline cage that just blooms up like flowers around them. And they're always like bright purples and pinks and blues.
Because what says death than bright pinks, purples, and blues? I'm just saying.
But it's nature. Nature's beautiful. It's terrifying. But beautiful.
They set up these time lapse shots, and they're like turning around while they're doing it. It is amazing to watch, but at the same time, I was sitting there watching it, go, God, that would be so creepy if it happened to people.
Yeah.
And then
there's your next movie.
and then Last of Us came out 3 or 4 years after that, and the moment I saw what Last of Us was, somebody had the same idea I did.
Thank you, nature.
The Last of Us is basically a father and a daughter that are trying to survive in this world of this
It's actually
fungus type.
Yeah.
the daughter. The daughter's gone by 15 minutes into that game.
Oh, well, I don't have a PlayStation, so I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
It has one of the most traumatic openings of any video game you'll ever play, because it starts off with a father coming home late after work, and his daughter is like presenting him with this watch or whatever for his birthday. They're like kind of fall asleep on the couch. You end up playing as her, waking up, and like there's like things going on around the neighborhood, explosions, and you have to you're trying to get to safety. Your dad like pulls you out. Your uncle, you get in a truck and you're driving around, which is crazy because I grew up in San Marcos and they filmed this they mapped it to be the suburbs of Austin.
Okay.
So I recognize a lot of the geography and everything like that.
Right.
Like they show.
Hey, there's Bill's house.
They like get to a turn and like it shows like the street sign like saying this many miles to like I think it was like Wimberley on one side, and I was like, oh, I know where they are.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, but what ends up happening is the whole area is going under quarantine because of it, and the daughter ends up getting shot in front of the dad. And like that's the whole driving impetus behind the game is he's tasked with getting this girl to safety, and it's like him trying to get over this guilt about letting his daughter die.
What's the other one?
Aw.
The Crazies was pretty much a virus in itself.
Yeah, crazies.
Here's one that I didn't even think of: Strickler's disease, which is the virus in Mimic.
Oh yeah. I can't do insect sounds. I would if I could.
That's a great. I thought it was a great
liked
film,
it.
but it bombed
Yeah,
in the box office. But
The director has problems with it because the studio got involved.
yeah,
So-
Del Toro still makes fun of it.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you guys this. So being as how we've seen all these massive amounts of, different types of disease, which one would you just unleash?
Unleash?
Which one would you unleash, or which one would you least like to get?
Both,
if
actually.
Mia
If
Jovovich
you
shows up, I'll
could-
throw the T virus any day.
If you could control any virus and unleash it, what would you do?
You mean if you're like a typhoid Mary?
I don't know.
So you're like a carrier, but you don't suffer from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what would you rather get?
I mean, what would we not want to get?
No, what would you get?
What would we get?
If all these viruses
So like
became public?
gun to your head, you have to get a virus.
Yep, in your head, you have to
Well-
get a virus.
Can it be curable?
Nope.
Well, I mean, we're
What's
dealing
the
with
fun of that?
we're dealing with movies, so you just find one that is curable.
I think the
That's
one
like
I
whenever-
wouldn't want to get would be anything space related, because there's definitely no way to figure out what's going on there. Like with, even with Night of the Living Dead, with the satellite stuff, or Andromeda Strain,
What was the Stephen King one with the comet or the meteorite that came down?
Dreamcatchers, that was another Parasite one.
Yeah, it's like
It
a.
was also
thought it was safe to get back on the pot.
the only one I can think of with the
I
comet
think you were
was
sitting on the pot when you were-
Maximum Overdrive.
No. It's one of the. It's like a short. It's in a series.
Oh!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's Creepshow.
Yeah, and
Where he
it's
gets
got
the
the one
green
as the meteorite,
fungus.
the green fungus.
Yeah, which is like funny for 70% of it,
Yeah, it really is.
and then he has to blow his brains out.
Yeah.
Holy Jacobs, or whatever.
Georgie, you retard!
Yeah. Ooh. I had to
think
pick
I-
one to get. I don't know, but in World War Z,
Mm-hmm.
he opts to get one that's curable to fight.
So he doesn't get detected.
So because they don't attack the sick.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Because it's a rage virus.
no.
Well, no, it's just
How he describes it.
Honestly, that was what I would if I was thinking about it. That's what I would least like to get.
A rage virus?
Anything that would make me lose function. Like I have no control over aggression or
'cause
rage
that's what
or
it
whatever.
was in 28 Days Later was the rage virus.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of. I'm struggling to think what movies there are, but I've seen a couple where they kind of like flare up and flare out. Can you imagine what the mortality rate would be on that? Because like, if you're not getting killed by someone in self-defense, you're killing yourself after you realize you've taken your entire family out.
Right. I think I would not like the ones where you like melt from the inside. You know what I mean? Like the
Putrefaction.
you like the Ebola.
Good word there. There's your word of the day, kids. Putrefaction.
Like the Ebola where it liquefies your insides or whatever. I couldn't handle leaking.
I would just love to hear that. Just and she says it so cute. What?
Putrefaction?
Like the Ebola virus.
The Ebola virus. I was gonna let it pass, but I liked how you said avian flu earlier, and you said avian flu.
Oh yes,
It's like a water. It's a water disease.
Yeah, that would terrify me too. Because I mean, if you think about it, if you wanted to infect the populace, you put it in the water.
Maybe it was started with a crane, a water bird, avian.
Jesus. Waterfowl. Waterfowl.
Oh, I know what I was thinking. That, of course, that's sort of man-made in drugs. But yeah, when I was saying what I wouldn't want to have, of course, it was basically just Agent Orange. But in Jacob's Ladder, what they gave him, and the reason they all have PTSD and horrible memories because they all killed each other in a training exercise and or can't deal with it.
I also wouldn't want and it follows or a contracted or
a STD type thing.
No.
Yeah, no. See, that would be. I have to say that in Contracted, the worst scene in that whole movie is when her fingernails fall off.
Oh yeah,
and like she goes to reach for something, and they're just, and I'm like, oh my god, no.
Does she act like she felt it?
Yes.
Okay.
She like feels everything that's going on
it's
in
like
her.
super heightened sensories.
Yeah, it is terrifying.
I was just thinking because I was like, if they just fall off, it might be gross.
No,
it might be gross to look at.
No, it's like when you reach down to grab something like your phone and your fingernails just like peel back and fall off with this goo and yeah.
And hurts.
Can't handle it. Yeah, and you
it,
feel it all.
Because it was just falling out. I'm just sitting here thinking about one of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
So you have to go home and watch Contracted. That's your homework for tonight.
I have to go watch that.
Yes, you need to.
Yes,
you
for Valentine's.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm doing
There
Valentine's
you go.
afterwards. I'm sure Katie will. I'm going to just say, this is Heather's request. It's like,
she's gonna kill you.
But here's the thing: there's no dads and no dogs, so we're good.
We're good. There you go.
It's just really gross.
Yeah.
Those were her two requirements.
Those are her two requirements. No dads and no dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said you can't watch Raw.
Yeah.
She can't.
Yeah.
Has anybody else seen that other than me?
No. I saw I passed by it the other day. I was like, oh.
That's one, like I was telling you, I got that and I got Mother that Joe and I are going to check out together. But it really has to be when Katie's out of the house because she's like, no to both of those.
Yes, definitely.
Well, you asked earlier any particular scenes in a film that seemed overly gross.
Mm-hmm.
Mine also comes from Cabin Fever, and I don't remember if they did it as much in the original as they did the remake or vice versa, but it's when he starts to feel up on her.
Have relations.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And then he gets all, he's like,
squishy.
it's all,
and
you're
she's
all
like,
wet.
she's like,
Yeah.
oh, stop! That hurts! That hurts!
Yeah,
That hurts!
yeah.
And then it's like, and you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Which Eli Roth was behind the camera laughing during that entire scene.
Oh yeah, you could totally tell. But I'd have to say that the scene in Patient Zero, where she's in the tent and melting,
Mm-hmm.
skin melting just freaks me out. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because I've been in a burn unit. That terrifies me.
Yes.
anything where you're, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when it's like after she's been in there for a while and they're thinking she's just, picked something up or whatever, and it turns out that she's like just coming apart, and it's the same kind of scene as in the first one where they're in there, and
because
that's where
doesn't
he
she
freaks
start
out.
falling apart in the shack or whatever they lock her up in?
No, she started that before. That's why they moved her to the.
Oh, right.
That's why they moved her out there so that they wouldn't catch it, but they all had it anyways.
Right.
So. And that's what I'm saying. It's terrifying because it's in the water. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that maybe
Which is how it starts at Crazies.
Yep.
Because
There's
it's
a lot
in
of
the
them.
it's in the water.
Are there a lot of movies that start in the water? The viral outbreaks in the water?
I mean, it's a common thing because you got the whole the common phrase something in the water.
Well, I mean, and everybody has water and I don't
most
say
of them-
everybody, but most people have running plumbing. I mean, they have running water.
think most
that-
of them
you get a
start
boil
either-
water notice whenever things get out of whack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Unless
think
you
most of
have
them
a
start
well.
with either some kind of a liquid or a food.
Yeah.
There's quite
Because I think
quite a few of them.
Contagion started with a food.
The other thing that would scare me
If
is
it's
the
not
ones that
airborne.
are airborne.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. The ones that are airborne, because there's not any way of everybody has to breathe.
Right.
Yeah.
And not everybody can go get the mask, the respirators.
Which is kind of
Yeah.
how it worked in The Girl with All the Gifts, is it would actually release spores and you breathe them in and
Right.
Yeah, which is also what happens with cordyceps. The reason that the insects will take the infected away is because they bloom and then they pop, and it just goes everywhere. So they are both Last of Us and that are really using cordyceps.
Mike, you're coming undone over there. Are you melting?
yes.
He's molting.
Molting
I'm
his
My
his
ears fell
headphones.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, viruses this week.
Viruses. They'll get you every time.
They will.
No.
Do you have a virus?
Was there...
You have a virus?
What? I was going to go somewhere and I forgot. I'm just completely lost
just
what I was...
stay sitting right there. You'll be
Okay,
all
I'll
right.
stay right here.
I,
I get lost very easily.
honestly, with this subject matter, there are two movies that are popping into my head that are not horror that actually bother me quite a bit.
Okay.
One of them is like one of my all-time favorite movies. I love Children of Men,
Okay.
but the tone of that movie is because the virus just made everybody sterile, so the entire world is just kind of given up, and
Okay.
it is all sorts of depressing. Like,
Okay.
I will admit that, but in general, that movie's about hope because you have a girl who shows up pregnant in the midst of all this type of stuff. They've got an amazing scene midway through that movie where all these people are fighting and, fighting over God knows what. And then, like, she starts coming through the building with the baby right after it was born, and, like, everybody just stops. Like, it is, like, powerful, powerful scene. I
Right.
love that movie. I don't remember if it's the same director. I know it's also another Spanish director, but holy crap. Blindness.
Blindness. Why does that sound so familiar?
Julianne Moore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
The one where everybody goes blind and they're gonna, like,
Except
they
for
all
her?
just start, yeah, they all just start, like, victimizing each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's like human experiment gone horribly wrong.
Mhm.
Like the worst of humanity
Yeah, I remember that one.
for like 2
I
hours.
think, what would you do if you couldn't see yourself or something like that? What would you actually get away with?
Yeah, that one is really tough to watch.
They're different directors.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, Netflix had an original series called Between, where a virus was released in this small town, and once you hit the age 21, you're dead.
It kind of reminds me of what was it? Crap. I wish I could remember the name. Experiment 21, maybe.
That's the name of something. I mean, yeah, that sounds like a name that I've heard.
Hold on. Keep
Yeah,
talking.
it reminded me of the Showtime series Jeremiah.
Oh yeah,
where
that's a great show.
Once they hit maturity, they died.
Yeah. Katie discovered that one on
That was
streaming.
actually pretty good.
She grinded through that in like a month.
Yeah. I didn't like the way they left it.
Yeah. I get it confused with Jericho all the time because it's
That was a good one, too.
It's also a dystopic
Yeah.
Unit 731, that's what it was.
Oh, Unit 731.
And it was during World War II, the Japanese they did covert biological and chemical warfare, and they would release like these, like, when I say it's like, oh God, what was it? I'm gonna have to find it. Hold on, I can't remember exactly. It was they released like fleas that were infected on a Chinese village, and it infected everyone in this village.
Very plague-like.
And they vivisected people, and I mean that's kind of what these kind of movies make me think of. When they're
right.
Yeah.
Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days.
Things were so simple back
Just
then.
release the virus into the world and nothing bad can come of it.
Give them fleas.
We got blankets.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's not the virus genre is not, or subgenre is not out of the realm of possibility.
No.
And I
no.
think that's why it gets most people is
Right.
that it's something that could happen,
Or
Yeah.
has
or
happened.
has happened, or
As long as the storyline isn't too far-fetched.
Right.
well, yeah,
I think people get to the point where if it's too close to home, it scares the crap out of them.
but if it's too far fetched, they're like, oh, why am I watching this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you have to find a
you
happy
could-
medium
You have to find
in
that
there.
happy medium, like she says.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Fair enough.
I got you.
All right.
yeah,
All right.
some good ones to check out.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. What's your favorite virus movie?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, let us
Watch
know.
them all.
Watch them all.
Yeah.
What virus would you want?
Get grossed out. Lose some faith in humanity.
Right?
Getting all
Stop
back
shaving
again
your
by
legs.
the end of the
Stop
movie.
shaving your legs.
Don't have
Yeah.
sex.
I mean, there's a whole lot of things. Don't
Yeah.
drink the water.
Don't drink
breathe.
water. Don't breathe.
Don't
You
go
know.
to strip club because
Any
that's where zombies
of our
are.
listeners with OCD, I recommend all these. Please don't kill yourself.
Out of order. Now, if you're OCD, are you doing it by the virus name or are you doing it by the movie name? Oh.
You're watching
Well,
the movie
can't
to
you
find out
have
the virus
it-
name so you
Well,
can check
wait,
everything
I got
on
it.
the virus.
I
So
was-
you can knock 3 times. Virus. Virus. Virus.
There you go. Because, some of them will be like, well, I have to watch this by alphabet of the virus name. And
Right.
Or what if you do it where it's like the virus itself, like the virus that's in the movie, but you do it by alphabetical.
What?
So like all viruses that are plague related.
Okay. So you got to watch Ebola
so you have to,
before
like-
you get to Motaba.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
organize them
And then you
per
break
disease.
it down
Yeah.
by alphabetical.
It'll be awful. You get to zombies at the very end, and you still have like half the list to go.
Right?
all right, watched all those. Oh, look,
and-
only 4,722 zombie films.
Well, when you think of zombie, I mean, we all think of, Night of the Living Dead or Resident Evil for zombie World War Z, zombie movies.
Yeah.
But I think the ones that really are zombie-esque would be like the ones where they, like Rabid or Quarantine, where they actually have
Some validity.
some validity. I mean, it's rabies. I mean, this is a disease that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
just killed a possum with rabies. I mean, so it's not,
Yeah, because I've seen doctors say that there's all kinds of diseases that out there that will mimic what the movie zombies are like.
Right.
You're just not dead.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So
And what's ironic is that the
Bath
viruses
salts.
that are
that's ironic.
No, bath salts.
Oh yes, I thought
Dude,
you
Florida
said
was.
bath salts were ironic, and I'm like, why?
Bath salts are all, because you smoke them and then you eat people.
That's not what I was thinking. But okay,
Sorry, go ahead.
bath salts. Your face looks tasty.
That was just stuff. They eat the bath salts, and then
Bath
they take
saltos.
and I'm done.
a little dessert of some Tide Pods, wash it down with some
Cabin
Clorox.
fever flakes.
Just wait, y'all stay tuned for Halloween because
Yeah.
That was perfect.
That was.
Stay tuned for Halloween. Dun, dun, dun. It's great. So, yeah.
I'm surprised it has a Utini jet. So, yeah. All right. Let us know what you think about virus films. What are your favorites? What are your go-tos? You know, are you the diehard zombie? Or are you the diehard kind of like
Goo
and gore? And,
you like the goo factor?
You know, the cabin fevers and the Planet Terror type stuff.
Are you one of those freaks that likes to watch pimple popping videos?
Yes.
Sorry. Freaks. I'm going to call you what
I'm
you
not
are.
even gonna lie. They do not bother me, and I watch them all the time.
Yeah.
There are millions
Especially
of
if they're on
views
the
on
feet.
those.
No.
I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Unless it's an underarm.
Orifice?
Yes.
No, I just don't want people touching my underarms
Oh.
or belly buttons.
Oh.
Underarms, belly buttons, and noses are the three. No, don't.
I know.
Don't do
I
it.
know. Okay, I'll add you to that list. There's like 5 or 6 people I know that have that thing about their belly buttons.
Well, my
like
thing,
my
I never
tights
really
either.
had a thing with my belly buttons, but I've had 7 surgeries where they went through my belly button, and so I have a lot of scar tissue built up, and I do not like my belly button touched. It's more of a scar tissue
Definitely
weirdness
don't
thing.
enough.
put your nose in it.
Fair enough. I've got a friend that I would used to like tease him by trying to poke his belly button, and he would immediately do like an inverse Pillsbury Doughboy. He'd be like,
Nice.
No way.
But, I mean, and some people like
Pillsbury Don't Boy. That was a great one.
love that.
That was nice.
I'm definitely don't touch my nose either.
See, I'm.
That came from
Don't
that's a whole
touch
nother
my-
story.
My thing is, don't touch my face, don't touch my belly button.
I don't mind if you touch my face, just don't touch my nose.
I don't like my face being
I was a kid. I will preface that, but I was a kid, and if you've ever taken the lid off of a 20-ounce soda, take the lid off of it.
This is 1 liter though.
It doesn't matter, just take the lid off of it. Same kind of lid.
Not 20 ounce.
By the
It's
mic,
the
did you
wrong.
have to take
It's
it off
not
by
about
the mic?
the size,
Take it
Mike.
Run your finger along the inside of that, along the edge.
The edge here.
The cap. Okay.
My dad did that to me one time, not realizing that it was serrated in there across the end of my nose.
Oh,
And you look like Coin when
I
you took his
kind
nose
of
off.
did. Yeah, it was terrifying. That's why I don't like to have my nose touched.
Put the lid back on
Lid
here.
back on. So don't ever do that to somebody you love.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got lots of
That
it.
was horrible.
He rolled my fingers up in the window one time. I couldn't get the windows to go down. It was terrible.
Your dad was a horrible guy back
Yeah,
then.
you didn't do the nose thing while your fingers were trapped.
No.
Okay.
No.
These
And all
all
of this-
sound like mistakes.
Yes. No. It was one of those. It was one of those things where you don't think.
So I'm gonna cut your nose with this bottle cap, then I'm gonna slam your fingers into this window.
Now that
they
your
were all.
fingers are stuck.
It was all accidental. So yes, there was not any malice behind any of it.
Was there a lot of beer behind it?
Actually, no.
Well, no, he's drinking soda, obviously.
Yes.
It was the original Coca-Cola formula. wasn't
Yeah. Oh no! God, can you imagine having that bottle cap run across your
it?
nose?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it would hurt after I drink the soda. The
Okay,
original
The
formula
original formula had
The
cocaine.
Coca.
with the coca plant.
I honestly don't know if you get hypersensitive or lose feeling from cocaine.
Wouldn't know. Never been on cocaine.
I've never had the cocaine.
Oh,
But,
no,
you know,
someone
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
just informed me. Okay.
Okay. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So, all right.
All right.
There we go. Yes, this week, viruses. Don't
We
catch
hope-
them.
Yep.
Oh, and if you have any virus movies that we haven't seen, let us know. Infect us with your answers.
Yeah, if you've seen one that we didn't
we're
list.
still doing watching reviews. We
Yeah.
might check it out.
Yep.
Grab some new.
I'm hoping that this movie will come out before we do our next one, that we can watch it.
Which one?
Well,
We're not going to say
We're not
now.
going to say now.
We'll talk about it. We need to talk about
We'll
it.
discuss this.
Like we need to talk about the Halloween.
Yes.
Tease.
Already. Gotta get it
know.
going.
I already have my
We start-
costume.
we-
Y'all
we-
are way behind.
Oh, Shaylin now wants to be Cora from Tron.
I've got to order mine. I already know what I'm being.
It's gonna
It's
be a.
fantabulous.
From
We
Tron?
start planning
Seriously?
Halloween in November.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a
as soon as
solid
Halloween's over,
character
we are
design, but
working
you
on
might
it
get
again.
hot in that suit because you'd have running lights on you.
No, LEDs don't get hot.
You can get the ones
Okay.
that the
Actually,
one
they,
in the
they now have the
tape,
glow
the tape,
strips.
the
Yeah,
The
the
glow
glow
tape, yeah.
strips,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, but
that's
there
what
you
it
go.
is. Viruses. Don't catch them. Don't give them.
Don't catch them. Don't give them.
Not
but
something-
do give us information on our
Oh,
Facebook
yes.
or Twitter and our Instagram.
Just a little
Our
public service
Tumblr.
announcement.
Yeah.
Always get tested for STDs.
Yeah.
Don't sleep around. Get yourself
Yeah.
tested. Don't pass that stuff around. Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants
Yep.
it. Mm-mm.
You
Safe
might
sex.
safe sex. You might get followed around by some nude tall man, or you might want to check down there for teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Teeth is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that just makes me
And-
want to cross my
Or you might become a biohazard.
Yeah.
You just never know. So just be careful out there, guys.
And
Don't get bit. Check that shit.
You could get the. That was good.
That would caught me off guard.
Yeah. And you could catch the crazy one that makes your day live over and over and over and over. So on your birthday,
Oh my god.
because it's your birthday.
Wow. Okay. I think we need to just stop right there.
We just
All right.
need to kill this.
Check us out on iTunes, Google Play,
Spreaker,
Spreaker.
iHeartRadio.
YouTube.
iHeartRadio, YouTube.
We're all
Our
over this.
website.
We're
Check
all
out our
over
website.
the damn internet.
The Facebook.
Yeah.
The Pinterest. Or the Pinterest. Are we on Pinterest?
Yeah, we are.
I don't know if
Instagram.
Individually.
this part of it is.
I'm not.
We need to be on Pinterest.
We
I know
do.
Thoughtbox is.
Let's Pinterest the shit out
I don't
of
know if I've
this.
made a Fear Central one.
We need to start pinning some stuff.
Yeah.
Doing some good. Educating
Yes.
some people.
Educations.
Education.
Gotta love it.
All right, guys.
Give you that higher horror learning.
Higher horror learning. Is that a degree?
Maybe.
It may be.
I probably earned 5 of them.
All of us at this table
Hopefully,
have.
we're all done with flu and Motaba. We'll see you again next week.
Yes.
Yes.
So stay safe, stay well,
Stay clean.
and as always,
Stay scared.